This is looking to be, once again, another beefy boy video, but hey, you know what? With a complex situation like this that continues to keep evolving, there's a lot of big talking points that we need to start hitting, and one that doesn't get talked about enough is the fact that corruption it's the bedrock of this entire Afghani situation. Literally, you spend over $2 trillion fucking dollars on the situation, and then you have some fucking smooth brains who are out there at the controls of all this stuff saying, oh, you couldn't possibly have foreseen something like this happening. Well, it's pretty fucking easy when you have the president of Afghanistan, who was duly elected apparently or something like that. Must have been like a 2020 election when he fucking got in there, but Ashraf Ghani left with $169 million, okay, as he flew out with several helicopters, multiple planes, not planes, but cars. I'm sure he has planes. They're probably stashed somewhere, but that was originally reported by the U.S. Embassy that he was, or not the U.S. Embassy, the Russian Embassy in Afghanistan. Let's get everything straight here. And now you kind of have this being backed up by the ambassador, the Afghani ambassador to Tajikistan, one of those other lovely fucking countries in the Middle East there that are in a constant state of turmoil, but you know what? They have actual eyes on the situation, not these second and third hand accounts, so I'll go ahead and take their fucking accounts of this travesty. The Afghan ambassador to Tajikistan for former government of President Ashraf Ghani, he's still the president, apparently, said Wednesday that he is seeking help from Interpol to arrest the ex-head of the state over the embezzlement of tens of millions of dollars. Ghani abruptly fled the country on Sunday following the arrival of Taliban soldiers to the city limits of Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan. Less than 24 hours before his departure, Ghani appeared on national television in a pre-recorded speech claiming he was working to reconstruct the Afghani military to reverse the Taliban's nationwide territorial gains throughout the summer. You've seen the pictures, you've seen the videos that have come out of Afghanistan. Nobody is protecting any of these bases. All of these warlord mansions that are out there look awfully fucking nice. Now, I know that there's a lot of money to be gained with the export of opium, and that's only going to be going up now that the Taliban are at the controls of even more stuff than what they had in 2001. Let's not forget, there was at least a little coalition stronghold in the north to begin with, but now that's all fucking gone. The entire country is under Taliban control, and that's why somebody's going to have to start fessing up, or some actual commissions, which I think right now there's currently more investigations on the books, and the dates are saved for January 6th insurrection instead of what is happening with Afghanistan. Again, if you wanted a real insurrection, just take a look at the armed fucking Taliban that marched into every single fucking government office and then just took it. And they haven't let it go. Instead of, the Capitol, oh my god, my January 6th. Nobody was armed, and they all left within 3 hours as soon as Trump was like, please go home, everybody be safe, go home in peace and in love. Like he's Mr. Burns in that fucking X-Files episode of The Simpsons in season 6. A BBC reporter, citing ambassador to Tajikistan Mohammed Zahir Agrabah, sweet, does he know the Sultan? Said Ghani reportedly left the country with $169 million, nice, of unclear origin. Oh, I think everybody knows where that came from, let's be completely honest. The report supports allegations from Russian officials this week that Ghani rapidly stuffed suitcases with cash upon hearing the news of the Taliban's arrival, and attempted to take as much of it that it did not all fit into the 4 cars and helicopters that he took with him. Yeah. Now he's apparently sought and obtained refuge in the UAE, and he's issued a statement, but I don't really care because this guy's a fraud of the highest level, and he fucked the entire country, if we're being completely honest. A lot of the blame needs to fall on that guy's shoulders, but again, he's also a puppet of the deep state, so if it wasn't him, it would be somebody else. And again, like previously mentioned, General Milley, the guy who's very concerned about learning about white rage. Well, he should have been concerned about brown rage because it's very effective. Maybe you should learn those tactics, because maybe you would have been able to understand that, that entire situation, which we definitely had eyes on the situation. Yeah, we knew everything that was going on. You couldn't foresee that everything would have collapsed within 11 fucking days. Nobody could have predicted Afghan government would collapse in 11 days. Well, it happened. If you were that badly caught off guard, perhaps you're not the guy for the job. Maybe you should resign. But you won't. You should, but you won't. The top U.S. General Mark Milley said Wednesday that there is no intelligence that indicated the Afghan army would collapse in a matter of days. Yep. Oh, okay. A lot of people are sharing those fucking videos where, oh, take a look at them. They can't even work out at a gym properly. They can't even do jumping jacks properly. I understand. It's like, okay, I sympathize towards that. But again, those are selectively edited. Those are legitimately out of context clips. And those guys were trained for 20 fucking years. There was apparently 300,000 of them and only 70,000 Taliban. Okay? I don't think it's anything conspiratorial to say that their response was bought and paid for. And everybody who trained them and everybody who properly equipped them for combat, they were being led by assholes who would say stupid shit like that. Oh, we couldn't possibly foresee that happening. No, just take a look at your plan. The plan that you summarily threw away, but we'll get to that shortly. This claim contradicts reports that military leaders had intelligence that indicate that the Afghan government could fall quickly once U.S. troops were withdrawn from the country. The Taliban extremist group captured Kabul and the presidential palace on Sunday. Again, $2 trillion, presidential palaces, luxury embassies. Where did all that money go exactly? To building up an Afghan military? Don't fucking think so. Sunday, after a blistering offensive, that saw them capture a number of provincial capitals without even firing a single shot in some cases. Left the fucking door wide open. Milley's remarks came in response to the question that President Joe Biden may have ignored those warnings to press ahead with the withdrawal. But clearly they did have heads up. Like, they've had some of these heads of the Taliban in Guantanamo Bay, and then Barack Obama released some of them in 2014 in a prisoner swap when they were still working with the Taliban. Yep, it says it right there. They knew all the fucking players in this, okay? So nobody that came up in those pictures of them sitting in the fucking luxury seats behind the big fucking oak desks right in front of all of those beautiful fucking antique pictures. Yep, nope. They knew everybody that was there. Oh, yes, that's Mohammed. That's Mohammed. That's Mohammed. Mastermind behind Taliban's takeover of Kabul was released from Guantanamo Bay under Barack Obama's presidency in 2014, despite resistance from the Pentagon, it has been revealed. I'm not even going to pretend to know how to pronounce Kalruhara Kalawaka was one of 5 Taliban commanders released from the detention camps off the coast of Cuba by Obama in exchange for an American soldier, Bowie Bergdahl. Former president guaranteed the U.S. people that the so-called Taliban 5 would be sent to Qatar and incapable of doing any damage in Afghanistan. Now you take a look at where a lot of the Taliban insurgents, those are also other popular videos that are coming out as well. They have C-17 big old cargo ships that landed at Kabul's airport after the city had fell on Sunday. And yeah, all of the Taliban leaders and more Taliban troops were coming in. And where did that flight originate from? Came over from Qatar. There's more stuff that's going to be coming out in the days that come that are going to sink this entire administration. And I'm not optimistic. I'm optimistic more stuff is going to come to light, but I'm not optimistic about the outcome because the country and really Western civilization is at its most vulnerable point, at least in the modern day. I can't speak about anything outside of like the past 20 to 30 years. It is clearly the most divided it has ever been, with the weakest leadership at every fucking turn. Can you name a leader right now in a Western world that you would even half trust right now that's currently in office? Trudeau? Don't make me laugh. Biden? Come on now. Macron, Johnson, Goebbels, or whatever her fucking name is there. Angela Merkel in Germany? Like, nobody's good. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on. These are not the leaders we need for this type of situation. We need strong, potentially a little bit of a fucking asshole. We need somebody who's going to walk into a room and immediately take charge. Do any of those people that I originally listed off, do any of those inspire that type of respect as soon as they walk into a room? Or do they just elicit little chuckles under your breath? But that's all right. Apparently 81 million people thought that the adults needed to get back into the room. But as you can see here, this came out from the White House this morning, which is nice because Joe Biden is back from his vacation. We'll talk about that very shortly. But this picture that was released, it's awfully telling. And a lot of people are pointing out very obvious things. But then there's something else that just jumps off the page to me as well. It's like, okay, all of those people, they're all sitting there. They've all got the poke. They're all wearing their masks. Except for Biden. There's just a certain level of importance, kind of like a projection of elitism. Like, they're all in this together. They've all fucking known each other for decades at this point. They've all just have equal amounts of blame for this fucking failure. But, oh no, Joe's right at the head of the table and he's going to lead us out of this situation. Just the fucking optics on this picture is so goddamn stupid. It's for the people out there. I'm sure that they'd be fucking clapping at this. They're the same ones who thought that speech was so wonderful when he took accountability. He took zero accountability. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Oh, we inherited this situation and we're saying enough's enough. Blame Orange Man, he bad. But another thing that really hops off the page here as well. Okay, everybody is looking directly at Biden, reading their little script that's there. Lloyd Austin, who we'll get to in a second as well. They're all listening to him, except for Kamala, who is staring dead-eyed at something right on the desk, and she has her finger on her temple, just wondering what the fuck is this old man on about. There's so much turmoil that we don't know about right now going on at that White House, but what we do know is, guess what? All of the fucking players are there. All the major players have finally come back from vacation, and we're going to be taking on this full force because there's a lot of shit that Biden needs to squeeze in over the next couple of hours that he's actually at the White House because, he's going to be going to Wilmington, Delaware, by 6 o'clock tomorrow afternoon for a 5-day long weekend. He'll be coming back bright and early Monday morning, but he's flying out to Wilmington, Delaware. He's taking this very seriously. But no mean tweets. President Joe Biden flew to Washington on Tuesday evening, cutting his vacation short as thousands of Americans remain in Taliban-held Afghanistan. Marine One touched down at 9:05 p.m. at Fort McNair. Biden and a trio of assistants disembarked and shambled across the grass to waiting vehicles. They arrived at the White House about 15 minutes later, where they gathered a couple of idiots who have led us to this entire situation and somebody with an iPhone 12 to take that wonderful picture. So what are they going to do? There's like 15,000, depends on whose estimates, really. It's somewhere between 15, 50, 20. I've seen multiple different fucking accounts of how many people are still American citizens that are still in Afghanistan. Collaborators, that's somewhere that you're getting up into the 6 digits at that point, but it's somewhere around that non-aggressive 5 digits, like 10 to 20,000 people that are actually still there. They don't really have a number, nor do they anticipate trying to get everybody out there. It's kind of case in point right here. Secretary of Defense, U.S. cannot collect large numbers of Americans from Afghanistan. Why? Those C-17 cargo ships that you're bringing everybody across on, like thousands of people, a small percentage of those are actually American citizens. Most of them are just all refugees that definitely, aren't taking advantage of the situation, don't have Taliban ties. No, I'm sure they vet them all incredibly well. No, they're all not veterans of this process by this point. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin said August 18th that the military doesn't have the capacity to collect large numbers of Americans who may be struggling to escape Afghanistan. Great, we can't offer you any security because we already removed all the troops. We left all the weaponry, and that's now in the Taliban's hands. There's no getting that back, no take backsies. And if you get there, I don't know, it's kind of a first come, first serve line. And we can't quite take all of you, so I don't know. Austin's remarks were made in response to questions about the Taliban allegedly blocking Afghan allies from reaching Kabul's international airport, as well as concerns about the possibility of thousands of Americans being stranded in Afghanistan if the military sticks to its August 31st withdrawal deadline. That was more or less imposed on them by the Taliban, but who knows? They've been known to alter the deal. Pray they don't alter it further. The State Department says that the Taliban is facilitating the safe passage of everyone cleared to leave the country, and some have argued that reports of people being blocked by the Taliban at checkpoints are unconfirmed. Yes, Just like how many people are actually there. Unconfirmed. We don't really know because we fucked this up so bad. Please don't put us on those cargo ships returning back, please. Austin told reporters that the United States will continue to rely on diplomacy with the Taliban rather than using force. Yep. Biden is relying on the Taliban to help evacuate up to 40,000 Americans trapped in Afghanistan. Again, how many people are there? Don't know. What's going to happen? Oh, we're going to negotiate with the Taliban. Sucks starting an assault rifle. U.S. citizens in the war-torn nation are told to shelter in place until it's safe. When's it going to be safe? I don't know. How many decades do you have? The White House confirmed that it is relying on the Taliban to provide safe passage for civilians looking to evacuate Afghanistan. All you can do is laugh. This is so fucking insane. But I guess they couldn't foresee this type of collapse coming, so you just get what you get. A return to normalcy, kids. On Tuesday, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan told reporters that the Biden administration was in contact with the Taliban who committed to ensuring U.S. citizens exit the country safely. You have until the 31st. The Taliban have informed us that they are prepared to provide the safe passage of civilians to the airport. They are prepared to. They aren't saying they're going to, but they're preparing to. And we intend to hold them to that commitment. Otherwise, oh guys, if you guys do that, we're going to do overwhelming force if Taliban interferes with evacuations. Do you actually believe any of these fucking assholes who are saying, Taliban, if you guys actually take over, make sure that you allow girls and diversity to come into your government because that's a good thing. Or you shouldn't commit insurrections because we hold panels in the House for that. Think anybody's fucking buying that shit? Taliban have been warned that they could face overwhelming force. Really? Really? The Taliban that's being supported by the CCP. You think you're going to fucking retaliate against them? I don't think so. All of this is fucking show. And they're going to call you on your shit. They are already. They're taking up the talking points of all of the other countries right now. All of the bad ones. Saying that, oh, what does America have to say about human rights when they censor their own speech? Talk to heads of Facebook in your own government if you believe us. They're already adopting that. Yeah, they could face overwhelming force if they interfered with evacuation efforts. Like anybody fucking believes that Biden would press the button. The U.S. Central Command indicated on Tuesday, following chaotic scenes of thousands of people trying to flee Afghanistan by falling off planes in midair, which is disturbing to say the least. And then, yeah, it's a first come, first serve. U.S. Embassy says military can't ensure safe passage to Kabul airport, but don't worry, they're working on it. They're talking to the Taliban. They seem like reasonable people. And what are they going to do once they just, I don't know, fucking batch take everybody? You said that you're American. What's your name? Habib. Okay, Habib, just, yeah, hop on. You and all your, those your military-aged sons that are with you? Yes, that is correct. We're all actually brothers, and we come here, and yeah, some of them are my kids as well. Oh yeah, don't worry about it. You said you're American, and we don't need to check IDs because that would be racist. So hop on board. Once they get here, Democrats are planning to use part of their $3.5 trillion budget to help resettle Afghan refugees, including women and children, which, if you take a look at most of those pictures and the people even running beside the planes, how many women and children do you see? Just asking. And inside the hull of the cargo ship, I defy you to find even just a handful of female or child faces. Most of them have pretty fucking bushy beards, if you ask me. Oh, Democrats now want to allocate money and to plan to help Afghan refugees resettle. Their $3.5 trillion budget package, congressional sources told Axios on Tuesday morning. Discussions on how to include this plan in the massive welfare and social spending budget disguised as a so-called human infrastructure bill are brand new and will be worked out in the coming weeks, according to 3 Hill sources familiar with the early talks. Don't really care because we've already gone over most of what's inside that $3.5 trillion budget that is authored, at least in part, by Bernie fucking Sanders, so you know that it's just full of pork and absolute garbage. But if it was actually full of pork, you should probably send it over there, because then Taliban wouldn't be too happy with that. You know, they got a thing with pork. But of course, I mean that in a political sense. But at the same time, why are you trying to resettle all of those people, like, permanently within the borders of the United States? How many allied countries, how many of those countries around Afghanistan could house refugees? There's a whole host of them. Just take a look at a map of the Middle East. A lot of those people could just hop a border, go one over. They can find a refuge there. You wouldn't need to be spending parts of $3.5 trillion in order to resettle them within your own borders. You know what would also help? Stop sending foreign aid. How about that? How about strike anything that says Afghanistan in that fucking budget and just take it completely off the map? Because if you want to have a conversation about, America shouldn't be interventionalist with anybody else anymore. No, that's perfect. Yep, there are certain duties and certain things that still need to be fulfilled, but that's fine. You go ahead and you take care of those. But you shouldn't be shipping trillions of fucking dollars overseas disguised as foreign aid to try to help these poor impoverished countries. They can deal with themselves. That's fucking fine. Stop sending the money in order to try to buy influence that just ends up biting you in the fucking ass. It's like, yeah, no, Biden, he's supposed to be at the front of this, okay? He's coming back for, a day and change. He's making a whole bunch of crazy fucking statements, not just about Afghanistan. It'll be about the second topic we talk about as well, because he's going fucking hog wild. These are the late days of the Biden administration. I really don't know if he survives this one. Health-wise, I think he'll be fine. He's on enough fucking painkillers and fucking loopy drugs anyways. He'll just make it through that. But I don't know if he gets through the other side of this. I have made mention to the fact that, Kamala Harris presidency probably isn't that good, but there needs to be accountability. There needs to be some scalps on this one. It'll probably just end up being Miley. It might just be Lloyd Austin. It just might be a couple of the fucking cronies that are out there, and then Biden just skates on through until January 21st, 2023. So you get Maximum Kamala, which I think is the name of a porn or something. I'm not too sure. I think Willie Brown has a copy. But Biden, man, he's just making an asshole out of himself. But then again, I'm sure the sun also came up where you were this morning. I don't know how you could leave Afghanistan without chaos ensuing. I don't think it could have been handled better. That's his current take on the situation, if you can fucking believe it. During a portion of the interview with ABC News on Wednesday, President Joe Biden said that he doesn't think the exit from Afghanistan could have been handled any better, and the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens. Really? You know what else he said during that little fucking interview? Biden dismisses Afghans falling out of planes by saying that happened 4 to 5 days ago. It was 2 days ago, but that's not what you should be picking up on. Okay, it's really not important what he has to say. All you need to do is just see the look on Biden's face. Hour 4 to 5. Other than he's starting to get a little bit of that Shawn Michaels eye where it's starting to fucking take off a bit, but he just looks so lost. And how do you dismiss people falling off of planes by just doing what's equivalent to doing just a little asterisk and then change the your if somebody's quick on writing a tweet? No, it's not important that those brown people fell off that plane. It's not important that we fucked up the extraction effort. It's not important that we threw out the fucking plans. You got the dates wrong, therefore your entire argument is invalid. I'm going now. I got some nightly oatmeal to have. This fucking dolt. Yeah, it couldn't have been done any better, right? Could not have been handled any better. Yeah, apparently so, Joe, because there was a different plan. Okay, could all of this have happened under Trump? Very much possibility. Very, very possible. Okay, we don't know how things would have happened, but Trump also would have had all the troops, and he would have had a different plan to fucking take that final step to actually getting the troops out of there. Joe had that plan. He said that he inherited the entire situation. Yeah, and then he also threw out the fucking plan, you dolt. You dolt. We've been talking about this for a couple of days now where, yeah, there was a plan. You should have taken out the non-essential people. You should have taken out your dignitaries. You should have taken out your weaponry. And then, once you have everybody else drawn down and everything is going fine, then you remove the troops. Okay? That's one of the very basic fucking rubrics that you could have followed. But instead, you just worked from the bottom up. We'll get rid of all the troops first, and everybody else can just fucking struggle to get into the airport in order to flee. It hasn't worked out that great, has it? Like it says here, Joe Biden's State Department halted a Trump-era crisis response plan aimed at avoiding Benghazi-style evacuations just months before Taliban takeover. They had the plan, they had the rubric, tossed it up, threw it out, because Orange Man bad. This is the entire guiding light of this administration. Trump bungled this, Trump bungled that, Trump mean tweets, Trump bad man, Orange Man bad. What else have they done? They haven't done fuck all. Oh, Trump initiated this by trying to withdraw everybody from the Middle East. Oh, he's such a bad man. You had his rubric, and you just fucking threw it out. Joe Biden's State Department moved to cancel a critical State Department program aimed at providing swift and safe evacuations of Americans out of crisis zones just months prior to the fall of Kabul. The National Pulse has exclusively revealed the Contingency and Crisis Response Bureau, which was designed to handle medical, diplomatic, and logistical support concerning Americans overseas, was paused by Antony Blinken's State Department earlier this year. Notification was officially signed just months before the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan. Sensitive but unclassified. An official state document from the Biden State Department begins before outlining the move to quash the Trump-era funding for the new bureau. The document is from the desk of Secretary of State Brian P. McKinnon, confirmed in March by the United States Senate. The document is dated June 11th, 2021, through the National Pulse. Understands the decision to pause the program may have come as early as February, both undermining the original Trump-era date and with withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan, and certainly giving the Taliban time to threaten American assets and lives in the run-up to Joe Biden's September 11th withdrawal date. The subject line reads, SBU, Contingency and Crisis Response Bureau, and the body of the document reads that you direct the discontinuation of the establishment and termination of the Contingency and Crisis Response Bureau, and direct a further review of certain associated department requirements and capabilities. It goes on that you direct the discontinuation of the establishment and termination of CCR. Oh, they did that a long time ago. That's fucking, 40 years at this point? John Fogerty's had a great solo career. Consistent with the applicable legal requirements, necessary stakeholder engagements, and any applicable changes to the Foreign Affairs Manual and other requirements. The document reveals the recommendations were approved on June 11th, 2021. Speaking exclusively to the National Pulse, the former President Donald J. Trump blasted Biden's irresponsible move. My administration's prioritizing keeping Americans safe. Biden leaves them behind, canceling the successful Trump administration program before the withdrawal that would have helped tens of thousands, all the great Americans that are there, reach home is beyond disgraceful. It's the worst. I haven't seen a worse withdrawal in my life. Our withdrawal was conditions-based and perfect. The best. Everybody agreed. My generals, my smart generals, not that woke idiot Milley. Can you believe this guy? They all said it was perfect. It would have been flawlessly executed, the best execution, not like Taliban. It's very rough, it's very disgusting. You don't want to see their executions. And nobody would have even known we left. The Biden execution and withdrawal is perhaps the greatest embarrassment to the country in history, both as a military and a humanitarian operation, just like the rest of his administration. There was a plan, okay? He fucked it up. Biden fucked all of this up. He's paying the price for it too, okay? Shouldn't really come as a surprise, but he's under 50% approval rating. A slew of new polls have come out this week showing the shrinking support for and approval of President Joe Biden. His average is now below 50%, but today Rasmussen Reports is issuing the capper, telling secrets that an election do-over, Biden would lose to former President Donald Trump. We need a redo for that? Interesting. By a 6-point margin, 43 to 37%. Likely voters would pick Trump over Biden in the next presidential election were held today. It's only been 7 fucking months, and they're already looking for refunds. Yep, no takebacks. The details of the survey, which samples more Democrats and Republicans, show that Trump would win more women and blacks than he did in 2020 when he lost to Biden, sure. A sizable 14% would choose some other candidate, though none were named because they're all fucking retarded. Oh no, I don't like either of them because mean tweets are bad, but old man sniff. Survey comes at the key point. The Biden presidency is now under fire for bungling Americans' withdrawal from Afghanistan, increasing inflation, and spiraling crime. Several other surveys out this week have shown his approval ratings underwater, a place Trump floated for much of his presidency. See, it's not that bad because Trump already did it. It's only going to get worse from here. Because the next few days, the next few weeks, when more information starts coming out, when the Taliban decide that, you know what, August 31st, God, that's a long time away, and we really just have these missiles here. Oh, just really in need of a target. You know, they have expiry dates, and we need to just, I don't know, blow off some steam, right? It's going to get a hell of a lot worse, and Biden's not going to get any more popular off the back of this. He can go out there and he can get wound up and do his fucking 15-minute speech where he appeals to fucking midwits and morons by saying that, the buck stops with me. Oh, that means he takes full responsibility. That's so great. God, your people are fucking dim. And you take a look at everything else that he's doing right now, especially when it comes to mask mandates and fucking forcing the jab on people. He's not going to get any more popular. He's at his top popularity with his base right now. It's just everybody who is wavering at this point is starting to get peeled off, and they're getting peeled off quickly. That is something that, I seen, but apparently, you know what, I'm not one of his generals, obviously, right? But when you execute a plan and you don't plan accordingly for the aftermath, you end up with everybody's fucking fifth favorite choice in Joe Biden. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Catch y'all later.